Hello everybody, Nerd in Texoma, back here once again with another video for y'all. Excuse me. I still have my guest star, Mr. Spot, over here, who doesn't want to look at the camera. He keeps on giving me this look of, I'm trying to nap, I am a cat, what the heck, why do you keep bugging me? Love you, Spot. Alright, he's gonna go curl back up on his little blanket there. You can see him down by my shoulder. Today I'm talking about a transformer I picked up about a month or two ago. I never had this particular figure as a kid, and they're actually re-releasing, or not re-releasing, they're releasing an updated version of this character pretty soon in the Transformers Legacy line, which is one of the current lines of Transformers out in stores. I believe it's going to be a 2023 release, maybe late 22. I'm not 100% sure. I might pick it up. I mean, it seems interesting enough, but unfortunately, Transformer prices for new figures are getting very expensive. So I tried to get them on sale, find them at thrift stores, stuff like that. Heck, even especially for the Generation 1 figures, which this is one of them, or any of the classic or vintage figures, they're getting expensive. And I usually don't have a problem buying junkers or incomplete figures, and if I want them complete, I'll find the parts eventually as I can afford them. Or in recent years, a cool thing has started to happen for us collectors who just want the figure and don't necessarily have to have the original vintage parts but want the complete figure. There are people out there that 3D print replacements for the original parts that might go missing. And that's what I have here today. I think it's pretty darn cool to have a complete figure. Granted, yes, I know it is not complete with vintage parts, but it is complete to me. Now, this is how I originally purchased the figure. Just the figure itself here with his spoiler for car mode. I'm not sure if this is supposed to really be a weapon for him to use, or like a shield of some sort, or, as I've seen in some artwork, just wings hanging off of his butt. I don't totally get it. But this figure is called Pointblank. He's an original G1 Transformer that is known as a Target Master. And what a Target Master is, nearing the end of Generation 1, Hasbro started doing these gimmicks with their figures. They had Headmasters, which included a robot that turned into the bigger robot's head, pull it off, and it could transform into a smaller robot and pilot the car or the tank or helicopter or whatever the alt mode was. You had Power Masters, which the figure was locked into like vehicle mode until you had this smaller figure, and I'm just doing this for comparison here, you know, basically to give you all an idea of what it would do. It would turn into like an engine that you would plug into the figure somewhere and allow it to transform into robot mode. Then you had Target Masters, which again was another smaller transforming figure that would turn into the weapon for the larger figure. Like I said, when I bought this guy, he just came like this. Robot mode, you know, transforms into vehicle mode, and his little wing engine thing there. You know, there's sticker wear for being, you know, a 20-something-year-old figure. But, and for the most part, I mean, the stickers are pretty decent. Passable enough for me. But he didn't have his Target Master. That's why I got him so cheap, because a lot of these figures that were produced in the Masters line, their smaller companion robot is easily lost, and it makes up the gimmick of the bigger figure. So without it, you know, you're missing on half of the gimmick, basically. Normally, a complete loose point blank like this, again with his Target Master, would run at least $150. If it was mint in package, you know, unopened and all that, you're talking like $350. In this condition, I got him for about $20. And since he's a Target Master, I wanted his Target Master partner. So I bought the figure and then started poking around on eBay and found his Target Master companion. However, this is one of those 3D printed figures like I was talking about earlier, a replacement part. You know, the official one from the 80s, you know, late 80s, early 90s, runs something like $60 for this tiny little figure. This is a 3D printed one. I think it's painted and not just printed completely in the color, because on the bottom there, on the handle port, you can see there's like that little speck of white in the red. So I'm guessing it was printed in a white plastic and then painted red. But this figure cost me $14. For me, it works. He displays wonderfully with point blank. This is Peacemaker. And he displays perfectly with point blank. The only difference is that since he is 3D printed, he's missing, you know, some of the little details like around his face, and I think he's supposed to have some silver on his shoulders there or something like that. And it's ever so slight that the shade of red is a little darker on him than it is on point blank. But he transforms the same way. You know, he turns into his weapon mode just by flipping his legs up and around like that. And that little post fits perfectly in point blank's hand, and there you have it for your display for your collection. I mean, just fits exactly like the original would, but at a fraction of the price. And like I say, for me, that is a big, great, wonderful thing to be able to have. I say parts of your childhood. Like I said, I never actually had this figure as a child, so something from your childhood era to be complete like this, even if it is aftermarket parts, replacement parts, to me, the coolness is having the whole figure. Now, again, if you are buying vintage figures and stuff like that, yeah, definitely make sure and inspect their counterparts that they come with. In recent years, I have seen replacements for the Target Masters, of course. I've seen replacements for the Headmasters. I have not yet seen a replacement figure for the Power Masters. I'm sure they're out there, but if you're into collecting these figures and want the official original figure, definitely beware that there are these aftermarket figures, I guess I would call it, or replacement 3D printed. I'm not sure exactly, what the correct terminology is for them, but they're not official figures. Definitely, if you're at a store or something and you're interested in buying the figure, check it out. Scrutinize the heck out of that. This is your money that you're purchasing, this item with. There he is in vehicle mode, a futuristic car. You have every right to check out and make sure that the figure is what you're buying. If somebody's trying to sell it as vintage and you have a replacement Target Master on there, the price should follow accordingly. It is, yes, the main figure is vintage, it is complete, but this is an aftermarket. This is not the original. No matter how good it looks, it's not correct to this figure age-wise. So definitely if you see something, if you touch it and the plastic feels just slightly different, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but there is a slight difference in the texture of the plastic on something that's 3D printed as opposed to something that's molded. Definitely ask about that if you're, again, purchasing something like this. And don't be afraid to call out the seller and say, hey, I think there's something different with this part of the figure. If they're legit, they'll be like, hey, yeah, this is a replacement piece here. I'm not sure about this. This is how it was when I bought it. Do your research. To me, like I say, for me, it's just the coolness factor of having a whole Target Master after all these years, an original one. Now, there have been a couple of re-releases previously of other Target Master figures that I've picked up. There's always something about having the original. The very first one that just makes it cool. So, but yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. And like I said, I guess something to look out for if you're into something like that. And I'm sure that there's even, into other things too, not just Transformers, like if you collect vintage G.I. Joes, Voltron, Thundercats, some of the easier to misplace parts, like the chest plate from He-Man. I believe that was originally detachable. The bazookas from G.I. Joe, little jetpacks and stuff like that. The swords from Thundercats. I'm sure there are 3D printed replacements out there. Just make sure and look at them, check them out. If something seems weird, ask the seller. Check it out. But enjoy your purchases, whatever you might purchase, whatever you might collect. Hey, it's what brings you happiness and joy. Do it. I mean, there's enough strife and garbage in the world as is. You enjoy, you deserve to enjoy something in life. Do what makes you happy. Be cool. Be good. I'll catch y'all on the next episode. And Spot will be back there licking himself and preparing for another nap, or preparing for me to bug him again and bring him back in front of the camera for y'all. Alright, Nerd in Texoma. See y'all next time.